If we were only talking about this game in isolation, it wouldn't be a problem because they were in control for lots of it and threw it away from some silliness and lost their heads a little bit. But it's been a really bad start to the season and the problems are mounting. The injuries, the problems off the pitch. I mean, he's done a lot right since he's been through the door. He's impressed and surprised a few of us, I have to admit, because I wasn't sure when I first saw him in terms of his presence, the way he spoke, the way he came across. But he did exceed expectation in that first season. But I'm seeing a group of players who I'm not really seeing an identity of what they're trying to do. You know, the system. I know there's a lot of personnel changes because of the injuries. I take that. No, 3 left-backs unavailable last night, so you got a centre midfielder playing at left-back, which seemed really strange because they had pace in the wide areas, and he's not the quickest Amrabat, so he got done for one of the goals. But I'm not seeing what they're actually trying to do.
And that's worrying, isn't it?
It is.
That's worrying.
It's, you know, when I watch Tottenham, there's an obvious plan with the ball.
Yeah.
And there's an obvious plan without it. In fact, you can start nailing it down. You can see what the fullbacks are doing when they've got the ball, how the 2 midfielders work, what patterns of play they've done in training, the way they play out, the split, the centre. There's so much of it you can identify with because I've done it.
Yeah.
The United side's a bit like, okay, we
you
want to play out a bit because the keeper's better on the ball than a De Gea. But the rest of it's just a bit, use your talent when you get, you know. Hoyland's a positive.
Yes, definitely.
I think he looks a real deal, hungry.
Yeah, beginning to, isn't he?
Yeah, he even, I did a piece on him a couple of weeks ago where he didn't actually score, but he kept getting in the right areas. He's a proper forward, and he's hungry.
But this has to be moved on. I was listening to that little watched channel Sky last night with Jason Burt and Charlie Wyatt talking about the challenges that Ten Hag has because he doesn't have an effective management team above him, and that the boardroom isn't. Come on now, this is Ten Hag's side. These are his selections. These are majority of them are his purchases,
and he's coaching them.
And it's his coaching, and we have to. I'm not suggesting that we should be talking about Ten Hag being fired, but we have to call it for what it is.
Yeah.
These are poor performances. They beat a poor Crystal Palace side midweek. Crystal Palace turned up on Saturday and turned them over.
Unbelievable.
Completely different side.
Yeah.
They go to Galatasaray. Of course, Wilfried Zaha turns up and scores, which is almost an inevitability. You could write that one, couldn't you?
Yeah.
But you're losing these games. They were dreadful last week away, or 2 weeks ago against Bayern Munich. The 4-3 score flattered them. They are poor from the dugout to the pitch.
So what is it, a rot, Simon? Is it history repeating itself again at Old Trafford, this time with Ten Hag? Are we about to see what happened to Mourinho, what happened to Van Gaal?
They all happened for different reasons at different times in Manchester United's evolution over the last 10 years. It was interesting to see the trailers that Piers has got for Zlatan Ibrahimovic, where he talks about this man's inability to manage superstars. He's come from a Dutch league where there aren't particularly superstars. Ajax were a great side. He hasn't had to, so the challenge is for him, scale and size. Ajax is a big football club. But each one of those managers had different challenges. Mourinho was going okay. I don't think Mourinho put himself into the job the way that he should have done by locating himself in Manchester rather than living in a hotel and commuting back and forth from London, and then falling out of love with Manchester United because he couldn't get precisely what he wanted, which was the Maguire signing. Van Gaal, people just didn't take to him, and David Moyes never got given a chance. I'm not going to discuss Solskjaer because everyone knows my views on that. It's well rehearsed. But Ten Hag is falling into the territory where, you know, he's beginning to become someone that doesn't appear to make a lot of sense and trots out tropes about togetherness when the togetherness on the field seems to be far away from the reality of what a Manchester United in our mind's eye should look like.
I think it boils down to this. Is this too simplistic, Danny? You played the game at the highest level. Certainly neither of us did. I think other teams in the Champions League and other clubs domestically have got better players than United, and this proves it.
I think the hardest thing for a manager at a big club is not to get good players playing well when they've got the ball. It's to get great players and good players, which United have got, better than Palace, better than Galatasaray, better than Brighton.
That's right.
Is to work ridiculously hard and do the difficult bits in football. And
Tell me who the great players are.
So the motivation...
Who are the great players in
Well,
that
Varane
team?
is one of the most decorated footballers still playing. You know, one of the best centre-halves in Europe. Won the World Cups, won the Champions League 5 times.
He's getting on, though.
He is, but you
match him up. You can
Well,
make that
let me
argument
just
against
finish.
Man City and against Liverpool and the teams that are their peers. But Galatasaray are not their peers, and neither were Crystal Palace.
No.
Man United's biggest problem is they're too easy to play against. No, they've got plenty of flair. They make chances every game they play. Their biggest problem is they're too easy to play against. Why is that? It's not because the players aren't good enough. They're not set up in the right way, and they don't work hard enough. Who motivates the players? The manager. Who coaches the players? the manager. You do not see Liverpool and Man City and Arsenal now with under Arteta outworked and outran.
But Danny, why have so many world-class managers failed in that home dugout at Old Trafford? And they have.
Well, I think they failed mainly because the comparison from Fergie and the bar he set was so high. So unless you're winning Champions League and Premier Leagues, you're failing at Man U.
Yeah.
So
yeah, but it seems like elsewhere
Mourinho
they
is
can
the
coach
only
top players, but they can't coach them at United.
Well, Mourinho won a couple of trophies with a lesser squad than United have got now. So he did something right, although the football wasn't great.
Won the FA Cup and then got fired the day after.
Yeah, but if we bring it to now, I think there's a simple question that needs answering: is would this group of players be in a better position and playing better football and look more established and more competent with a different manager?
What's the answer to that?
Well, if you put Klopp, Guardiola in there now, Man U would be better because they've got better players than their league position.
Right. So is Ten Hag not the answer then?
As of now,
time show that he doesn't.
As of now, no. But what he done last season, I would give him a bit longer to see if he's capable. But as of now, I'm not seeing a group of players moving forward.
And I was going to ask Dan that question you got there before me, which is, do you think he's got the ability to do the job? The question is always going to be, because it's Manchester United, is the manager capable of winning the league? And if we look at it in isolation, they spend as much money, if not more than others. Can Ten Hag eclipse Guardiola or Klopp?
No.
And the answer, I would think, is a resounding no from most people. That means Manchester United are going to be the constant subject matter of underachievement because all we're benchmarking it against is winning the league, winning the Champions League.
That's if the hierarchy are so. I mean, they might have a long-term plan and not be expecting to challenge for the title of the Champions League in the next year or two, but that doesn't sound like Man United.
Well, I mean, Manchester United fans, what's your thought on this morning? So here we are, as it stands, it's Wednesday, October the 4th. Could you have imagined this? In the league, United are 10th, 9 points from 7 games with 3 wins and 4 defeats. They're bottom of the Champions League group with 2 defeats in 2 games. Danny's saying at the moment, Ten Hag's not the man. Time might show us that he is the man. Do you go with that? Do you think Ten Hag will pull through and do the job you want him to do? And let me ask you this, when does patchy poor form become a rot? Has the rot set in? 03717 223344 81089.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.